Are you ready to apply for your PPP forgiveness? Well, today's August 10th and the portal's open, according to the SBA. But in this video, I'm going to discuss why you may want to wait to apply for forgiveness. I'm going to talk about the 3 reasons why you may want to wait. And at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do. My name's Nick, and welcome to Mystery of Money, the channel where I discuss relevant financial topics, as well as financial concepts that you can apply to everyday life, in an attempt to remove the mystery that surrounds money. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're looking for other videos around financial topics, consider hitting that subscribe button. Now let's get into the video. So today is August 10th, the day that the SBA is opening the portal for lenders to submit applications for forgiveness for their borrowers. The application process ended on August 8th, and that was the last date that businesses could apply for funding through the PPP program. And my guess is that very specific timing is because they knew the portal was going to open on the 10th, and they wanted to funnel as much resources as possible into the forgiveness portion. So reason number 1 to wait to apply. The rules keep changing. Banks and lending institutions have been stalling their customers for the last several weeks because the final rules have not been put out by the SBA or Congress as to how this forgiveness portion is going to proceed. The original period went from 8 weeks to 24 weeks. The original payroll was 75%, now it's 60%. And then any loan generated after June 5th went for a repayment of 5 years versus the 2 years. Who knows what other changes may come? Reason number 2, the HEALS Act. The act that is being proposed has an additional PPP component to it, which would allow for a second draw of PPP money and possible forgiveness if your revenues are below 50% of last year. And while this new act is still making its way through Congress, the first PPP hasn't even been finalized. There are several key changes that have been recommended to this program for the second round. One being they use gross revenues or gross receipts of sales versus net income, which will help sole proprietors who tend to write off a lot more expenses and write down their net income to avoid taxes. By changing this provision, it's going to allow for a lot more small businesses to receive funding, or more funding than they did the first time. We now break for this important message. Hit that like button. Reason number 3 ties into the EIDL program. As I've covered before on this channel, the EIDL program had an advance component that you could apply for up to $10,000 that would be forgiven or granted or whatever given to you pending the loan or not pending the loan, and those changes are still coming also. But in the forgiveness portion of the PPP currently, on that application, it states you must divulge whether you got that EIDL advance, and that would be subtracted from the amount of loan forgiveness. So technically that would either turn into a loan or you would have to pay it back. There's already talks of automatic forgiveness for the PPP program, anyone under $150,000. Those are making their way through Congress now. I think they have a high likelihood of passing due to the fact that a majority of the small businesses, I think the average was $67,000 for the loan. And Secretary Mnuchin has already said that they'd like to see some fraud triggers put into place to make sure that the people that truly needed this money got it and the fraud is somehow weeded out. So if this passes and it's automatically forgiven, in my mind, that advance that you received would be discounted and you wouldn't have to pay it back. You wouldn't be applying, so they wouldn't know that you got the advance. I'm not advocating that it's right or wrong. I'm just stating the facts that if it's automatically forgiven, you may not have to pay that advance back in general out of the PPP funds. There has also been no guidance as to how this money is going to be accounted for. Will it turn in from a loan or a long-term liability to straight income? Are you going to have to take it as income but not be able to write off the expenses of the payroll in which you use the money for? So a lot of that is still making its way through Congress too. Again, a lot of unknowns in this program. I think that's the way the program has always been from the time it was rolled out until now. There's been a lot more questions than answers. There is a downside of waiting. If we've learned anything from the EIDL program, those that waited to apply didn't get the advance. They didn't give it an option for the advance. They were waiting a lot longer for processing than the original group. You may have to start making payments on this money. Originally, it was 6 months from the date of disbursement that you would have to start making payments. So that's a disadvantage of waiting also. I think also, depending on the results in November, the programs in general could come under a lot more scrutiny. They may look at tightening the restrictions for forgiveness. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait, because being on the side of a person that has reviewed the applications for the money and will be reviewing the applications for forgiveness, I know the rules are constantly changing, and I'm not making a decision based on today's information that could change for tomorrow. I'm willing to pay a month or 2 of those payments to possibly benefit by waiting. But also, in my opinion, whatever you do for your business is the right decision. You are ultimately in control of how your business runs and what your business needs. So there is no wrong answer. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you got value, smash that like button. If you want more videos like this, or if you want to track my progress through this process, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have a great day.